Dave, it's not something you'll have had to have done too often since coming to the club, but how do you pick the bones out of a defeat like that in the days that follow?
Um, I suppose people might think this is not the case. As quickly as possible and as consistently as possible. So our our agenda tries not to change whether we win, lose or draw a game, and what we can take from a game, and how we shut it down, how we move on. We try to do that as quickly as possible on Wednesday, and then players were off on Thursday, lads who needed it trained, and we've had a brief meeting this morning just to, I suppose, summarise where everyone's thoughts were at, and moved on really quickly to what's in front of us at the weekend.
In terms of learning lessons from that, though, I know you said on Tuesday that it would be a good measure of where your side were at currently. When you look at Wycombe as well, is it a lesson for the players of the levels you need to reach to be competitive at the top end of this table?
If they needed a yardstick, then yeah, absolutely. It wasn't a lesson for me. Without it sounding the wrong way, I know what effective looks like and what good looks like. And I suppose when you combine the fact that they were good, very good, and we were bad, very bad, then that's not a good combination if you're looking for a positive result. So if players did need a sort of, okay, and I understand, then maybe they've got it. That would be the hope from my perspective, because no one wants to lose a football match, and losing football matches hurts. For me, how you react to that hurt, and I don't mean react in terms of the next day, if that changes behaviour and changes motivation a little bit and sort of makes you reflect on what you're doing, and there's a positive outcome to it, then everybody wins. And I hope that's the case. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden whatever happens on Saturday means that you're either over it or if there's a bit of a hangover. I think for me it's more looking at, okay, you respect what teams have done and how they've gone about it, and what the good bits were, and also then what the bits that we need to be better at are, because it's really easy to look at it and go, oh, yeah, we conceded bad goals at bad times. Well, that can happen. How you react to those moments in football matches ultimately is going to dictate how high you can play as an individual, and collectively as a team, what you can go and achieve.
When you spoke after the game about not being able to really use the system and the shape that you've wanted to yet this season for a variety of reasons, presumably the wing backs are quite important in that regard, and obviously Maka and Rydell are working the way back. How far away are they from being able to start games and giving you those options?
Yeah, listen, they're not far away, but we need to be careful with what we do with them, because they've been out for so long, and the easy thing is to be over ambitious in terms of go on, get yourself straight back in there. We'd have hoped that they'd have got, like I said, both got half an hour last Saturday. Unfortunately, because of extra time, they got a little bit longer, and then been sort of eased into what it looks like. Sometimes that's not the case, and you have to make decisions around what that will look like across our back line. We've got players that are coming back from injury, include Jay Mingy in that, and we've obviously got Teo, who's not played a massive amount of football. So we've got people probably along the back line that maybe aren't ready to play 90 minutes, and that's something that we have to think about and think how we might plan getting through 90 minutes and what that looks like. But ultimately what we want to try and be is a situation where everybody's fit, available, ready to play 90 minutes, so that we can play in a way that I think will best suit the current players that we've got. And that's not to say that I don't expect that if we tweak things a little bit and play with a different personnel and a different system, that I don't expect us to be good enough to compete and win football matches. But being asked the question, we've recruited to be something that I think will definitely make us stronger. Hopefully we can continue to edge towards that.
Whilst we're on injuries, obviously Tyler and Michael Mellon both went off last Saturday. Do you have a clearer idea yet of how long they might be out?
Yeah, Tyler's a significant one, so he's going to be maybe 3 months or so. Michael, not so much, but again, his is probably a day-to-day one where we see where he's up to. Will he be this weekend? unlikely, but that's pretty much a moving target. Whether there's a possibility for Tuesday or next Saturday, again, not too sure, but he's certainly less significant than what the Tyler one is.
No Ethan Pye on Saturday, 5th booking for him on Tuesday night. I think you've got Callum Camps on 4 as well, Fraser and Ibby on 3. Is that a conversation you have with the players in terms of walking that tightrope, not picking up silly bookings along the way?
That's exactly the word, silly bookings. So yes, we have had the conversation. Players suffer as a consequence because they get fined for bookings that are, again, silly bookings, you might want to call them. Ethan's had, I think, 3 missed time tackles. Listen, as a defender, I expect you to be making tackles. I know you're going to get some of them wrong, yes. And in the current climate, do tackles that go wrong more often not end in bookings? Yeah, especially doing it in this league because of how referees are. But 2 of them are picked up from petulant, adopting an aggressive attitude, where his booking on Tuesday night is pushing someone in the back. Well, they're really poor decisions, and at the minute poor decisions have cost us, and they cost us again. But the fact that he misses a game, but he'll suffer as a consequence of that. And yeah, you have to make sure that those ones that you can prevent, that you do prevent, because we've had enough setbacks this year with injuries. Are there going to be suspensions? Of course there's going to be suspensions over the course of the season. We went a long time without getting a player sent off, and the one we did get sent off was probably debatable as to whether that should be the case or not. But you need to keep players on the pitch, and you need to keep players away from suspension if at all possible. And we need to play our own part in doing that by making sensible decisions at the right time in games. Otherwise, it will come back and bite us.
It will be the first league game that Ethan's missed since February. He has been a real mainstay in your team, but again, I suppose, as you always say, that it's always an opportunity now for someone else to step up, whether that's Sam Hughes, Callum Connolly, Ibby Toure, the like, opportunity for those players.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been, like I say, we've been in a situation where we've had to make changes over the course of the season, and you prepare for people to play in different roles, and that will be dependent at times against the opposition you're up against. So let's say we'll make an enforced change, and we'll make a selection that hopefully will give us the best chance of winning the game and dealing with not only what Bolton have to throw at us, but also where we feel we can get joy with what personnel we play along the back line, and that'll be no different whether it's this weekend or next weekend or Tuesday night.
Bolton at home will inevitably bring back the memories of that FA Cup tie, your first win as county boss, and really that night was the catalyst, I suppose, for all the success that's followed since.
Yeah, it was a special night, a night that everyone will remember for really good reasons. It was probably, from my perspective, it was the reinforcement really that maybe gave the players the belief of how we were going to go about things. It was, like I say, it's the 3rd game. First, maybe second time we changed our shape. We went with a 4 against Bolton in the first game. Obviously then played really well against Bromley in the next game on the TV, and were somehow managed to draw a game where the opposition didn't have a shot on target. And then that was the game where we did change our shape, and a lot of our best practice stuff that we've looked at over the last certainly last couple of years came from that game, because we were brilliant physically. We went about things and in a positive way, and we did show that resilience, and we did show that character to be 3-1 down, especially with the manner of the goals on, I don't know what it was, 20, just over 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. Get the goal just before half time, go into half time, come out, be really positive, have a brilliant second half, and continue to knock on the door. And then obviously Ash get that header with 5 minutes to go from the corner. Was great. Then to go and win the game in extra time, and the adulation and the celebration of the supporters was brilliant. And I think the players came off and then all of a sudden really believed that with the squad that we had, that they could go on and achieve something really special, because we just made, or competed and outcompeted a really, really strong League One team that was at full strength in both those encounters. So, as you say, that was the catalyst that we did kick on from there. And in the main, haven't really looked back. We're now competing on a level playing field in terms of league status as Bolton, which if we'd been offered that on that evening 3 years ago, we'd all absolutely taken it.
It's another sellout tomorrow as well. The atmosphere should be incredible. Is that kind of challenge you want after a defeat like Tuesday night?
I suppose that depends what type of character you are, isn't it? I know which camp I'd be sat in. I'd be absolutely looking forward to righting any wrongs if I felt there were wrongs there. And be wanting to play in a game, like you say, that will be brilliant in terms of the atmosphere. I know our supporters will back the players 100%. And with everything in front of us, our aim as a group will be to create new memories, and we have the opportunity to do that at the weekend. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, there's always a little bit of the unknown in terms of a player's perspective, but we've got to be positive from the outset and do everything we can to go and cause Bolton problems. They come into it in decent shape on a decent run, but they'll know what's in front of them. They'll know what the atmosphere will be like. I'm sure they can't wait on the back of what happened to us on Tuesday. We've got to make sure that we take care of our stuff, except that we're going to have to show some resilience and show some determination and show some fight, because there will be doubters around, and really go and show that Tuesday night wasn't us, regardless of how well Wycombe played, and get back to what fundamentally our identity is, which hopefully you'll see at the weekend.
Appreciate your time, Dave. Thank you.
Welcome. Cheers. Thank you.